Right, welcome back. And to highlight the visit of the Greek Prime Minister to Egypt and his meeting with President Sisi, we have with us over the phone Ambassador Hamdy Saleh, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good evening to you, Your Excellency. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening to you, Your Excellency. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can't hear you. You are too far.
I'll try to raise my voice as much as I can. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, now I can hear you a little bit.
Right. So, Your Excellency, we're speaking here about the Greek visit to Egypt, the significance of that visit at this very particular time, in light of the developments that are occurring in the region, and how important was that visit?
You are talking about the Greek-Egyptian meeting?
Excuse me? We're speaking about the Greek Prime Minister visit.
The summit between President of Sisi and the Greek Prime Minister?
Yes.
Well, I thought this is a very important meeting in a critical time. The three leaders emphasized three major issues. One of them, the first one, is really the historical ties between the two nations. This is a very important thing because the relations between Egypt and Greece goes thousands of years, and it's a large number of the Greeks were living in Egypt and also Egyptians living in Greece.
Yes.
The culture and the civilization were very much intermingled. The second, that they emphasized that in the major regional issues, the perspective and the perceptions of the leaders are very close to each other. He talked about the major regional issues, the east of the Mediterranean, the issue of the energy and the oil and the gas, which is now the very substantial issue, going too far in the relations between the five countries in the region, in the East Mediterranean. They talked about Cyprus, and the Prime Minister of Greece emphasized the importance of Cyprus and the importance of applying the United Nations resolution with regard to Cyprus. And they talked about Libya and the integration of Libya, the sovereignty of Libya, and then talked about Palestine. In addition to that, the Prime Minister of Greece emphasized the support for the position of Egypt with regard to the Renaissance Dam of Ethiopia and the issue about the Nile and so on. So to a very large extent, there was that type of perceptions between the two leaders and the two countries, which are really leading to a better relationship.
Right.
But in addition to that, they talked about the economic relations. The Prime Minister of Greece went into even details about, the cable connecting Egypt in terms of electricity to Greece and to Europe. And it talked about, the importance of expanding economic cooperation.
Indeed.
This is a very critical time because here the Prime Minister of Greece is visiting Egypt in a time when there is various efforts from Turkey and other countries to really change the balance in the Eastern Mediterranean. And Egypt is a balancer. Egypt is the country who is really creating a certain balance in the Eastern Mediterranean and calling for creating a peaceful coexistence among the countries and establishing a more fruitful cooperation among the countries in East Mediterranean. So when there is that controversial position of Turkey with regard to Libya, with regard to Cyprus, and so on, so the Prime Minister of Greece is coming to see to what extent Egypt will stand with its principles, which it does. The President Sisi does emphasize the principles of Egypt, of emphasizing the United Nations resolutions and the need to pursue peaceful cooperation.
Indeed.
All this is related also to the development of the relationship between Egypt and the European Union, since Greece is part of the European Union. So, as I mentioned, it is an important visit, important summit. It came in a critical time. The critical time because of what's going on now. There is so many things moving on in a very fast rhythm. There is that Berlin too about Libya. There is so many controversial issues about the Eastern Mediterranean, conflict about the gas and the oil and so on. So the meeting of minds between the two leaders was very important to show the future how they can work together.
Indeed, that is indeed wrapping up the whole issue. Let me here take the last question here, and you have at the end spoken about a very important issue, which is Greece as part of the European Union. And Egypt has sought a real partnership with the EU in order to be able to support the Arab causes, the developments, and many of the issues that you respectively spoke about. How far is Greek an important partner, and how far can the EU support, Greece support the regional issues as they agree on the same perspectives? How far can Greece be a support to those regional issues and play an active role as part of the European Union?
Now, definitely, Greece is a very important member of the European Union. In spite of the fact that it's facing so many problems, economic from within and political pressures from without, particularly the conflict with Turkey and the issue of Cyprus. But it is an important member of the European Union, and it has been working with Egypt to develop that relationship between Egypt and the European Union. The problem is that the European Union itself is divided, and they don't have a clear perception of what policy they would like to pursue with regard to these issues, either the Eastern Mediterranean or what's going on in the Libya and so on. It is divided. And to a large extent, Egypt and Greece are trying to move the European Union into creating a platform which will help establishing peace in Libya, establish terms of stability in Cyprus, and establishing a platform for cooperation and resolving the issues of the Eastern Mediterranean.
Indeed. Indeed. Ambassador Hamdy Saleh, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for being with us over the phone and for your input here. Now, moving on with our discussion or our topic of tonight. And before we delve into our discussion, let's first have a quick look on this report, and we'll come back for more discussion.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received last week Arab information ministers and officials on the sidelines of the Arab League's 51st Ordinary Session of the Council of Arab Information Ministers in the presence of Karam Gabr, head of the Supreme Council for Media Regulation. Presidency spokesman Ambassador Bassam Radi said that the President welcomed the Arab Ministers of Information, stressing Egypt's keenness to strengthen the role of Arab and national media and to keep pace with the rapid developments that the media field has witnessed in recent years, given its strategic importance in supporting national efforts in various fields to achieve stability and development. This could be achieved through monitoring the demands of the masses, raising public opinion to support the state's institutions, raising the awareness of the dangers of aligning with destructive calls aimed at spreading chaos, and also through warning against the malicious goals of terrorist groups and refuting their false claims that completely contradict with the teachings of Islam and aim primarily at harming the nations. President el-Sisi's meeting with the Arab information ministers and officials also witnessed an open dialogue which included the most important issues raised at the meeting of the Council of Arab Information Ministers. The meeting also witnessed consensus regarding the preparation of a unified Arab media strategy, especially in light of the emergence of digital media and modern media content, and the need to consider the most appropriate mechanisms to benefit from. This would be achieved with the aim of working on media awareness for future generations, as well as the vital role of the media in supporting the Arab national security and enhancing institution building, in addition to consolidating the bonds of brotherhood in the Arab world. For their part, Arab ministers and media officials expressed their honor to meet President el-Sisi, and they praised the tangible achievements that Egypt is witnessing under the leadership of President Sisi at all levels, politically, developmentally, economically and socially. They said that such achievements provide a role model for the Arab nations in progress, prosperity and future vision to achieve sustainable development. The Arab ministers also hailed the historical role of Egypt as a center of gravity to preserve security and stability of the entire Arab world.